The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal Big Footy rules still apply. Okay, so this is the Flogcast for round 16 of 2013 season. Fyfie joined by the Cat Wrangler.
Yo, beauty!
Duckula.
G'day.
Paddlepop.
Hey.
And our new addition, Stronzo.
G'day, K-Hunts.
Start with Hawthorn Geelong.
Yeah, let's get the pain over with.
The Kennett curse continues.
The Cats were the better side over 4 quarters. Congratulations to them. They had a plan that surprised the Hawks. You know, we didn't expect them to come and play Ross Lyon footy. They flooded every stoppage with their entire side and tried to slingshot back the other way, which I thought made the first half quite ordinary. However, the Hawks got the beautiful game going in the second half, but it just wasn't enough, even though they outscored the Cats, to pull off victory for the beautiful game. For me, the bad was Cats playing Ross Lyon footy, and the good was Norman Gunston kicking goal of the year from 45 on the right foot in the right pocket.
Does goal of the year really count when it's a fluke, though?
Mate, does a rivalry count when one team beats the other 11 times in a row? I mean...
Is that you admitting that, you can't beat them, so it's not worthy of rivalry? You're just disregarding all those grand finals?
I reckon the Hawks need to admit to themselves they've got a problem. And I will say this is not part of the bet with Tyler Kellett. Losing 11 in a row is just a problem. Jeff Kennett was right about one thing, except you got the teams the wrong way around. Hawthorn need to have a good look at themselves, and then maybe they'll get by it. Hawks sucked, and the Cats were better. They're clever. They came with a game plan. The Hawks didn't see it coming. They played really defensive, aggressive football, and the Hawks were flat, and they deserved to lose.
They just played what they played the week before against Freo.
They did, and it worked.
Don't worry, we'll knock them out of the finals for you.
We might need you to.
Don't forget that last man will be Tyler Kellett's live on the Bay for 1 hour on Wednesday night. What time would that be?
9 o'clock, I think.
What duties has he got for you?
He's been PMing me all week, the freaking stalker. He's definitely got some evil plans. There's a lifetime of frustration from 1989 and 2008 built up, and he's basically going to take it out on me.
So he's been sending you more private messages than a female poster would get from Bombers 2003.
I know how Wouchette feels, I'll put it that way.
I'm not sure how comfortable you are with the term slave either. I keep imagining him sending you pictures of ball gags and other assorted items that he expects you to use during your hour of slavery for him.
Look, I'm just lucky he's not very good with the computer, or my avatar might be the Kim scene out of Pulp Fiction.
But yeah, the Kennett curse continues, which it's almost a real thing now. It's so mental. Like, they know they'll beat you and you know you'll lose. Even though the first few times it probably would have been just, oh yeah, Kennett curse. Now it's kind of a thing.
How about fixing the Kennett curse?
Give the Hawthorn fans a free sausage, and that might make them feel better.
I was actually going to suggest, actually assassinating Kennett.
Take him out back.
Or getting Kennett to admit that Geelong have the edge might work in the reverse.
Maybe go and get him to go down to Geelong and apologise. Just take the edge off it all.
Be easier to kill him.
And more satisfying as well.
Definitely more takers. Speaking of being beaten by large scores or being beaten, how's the Tigers, Fyfie? I thought you were going to win by 10 goals. Just your usual 10 goals. What happened over the weekend?
They only lost by 10 goals.
I think I just said Tigers by 10 goals. I didn't say win or lose. That was embarrassing.
How does it feel to have 9 inches of kangaroo penis up your ass?
It was a lot easier watching Hawthorn get done. Yeah, it wasn't good. I actually didn't watch much of the last quarter. I watched GWS Bulldogs when I realised Richmond were gone, because that was going to end nicely, and I thought, I don't even want to change back. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Hopefully, that is the proper motivation to avoid the absolute disaster in Cairns this week.
So are the microwaves getting warmed up?
Oh, yeah.
Richmond are setting themselves nicely for a ninth place finish.
Yes, but we've discussed this. That's finals this year.
Let's face it, there's almost some kind of awesomeness to finish ninth and then then get in the finals by knocking out the Bombers would just feel pretty awesome, I reckon.
It's like Fitzroy winning that flag, finishing last. That would be the ultimate troll.
Was there any whinging from Brad Scott after the game?
I saw a Scott brother crack the sads this week. Might have been Chris. Yeah, the deliberate out of bounds. It was Chris with that deliberate out of bounds. Nearly threw his drink bottle through the coach's box window.
He threw his magnet board. He picked up the magnet board and went to sling it out the back. And how arrogant was he on the TV the other night as well? They are unlikable.
They're related to Suze.
Being volatile comes with the territory there. The roof was closed that he had, so he probably didn't have a whole lot to complain about. I think I saw a sulky face over something, but honestly, there weren't many things that went Richmond's way. We just didn't play that well, so I don't know what could have been annoying him. Maybe just some random free kick when they were 50 points up.
There's been a bit of talk about the umpires at the Hawks-Geelong game, but the Geelong crew that I was with all Cats, none of them had a problem with the umpiring. That out of bounds, look, you could see him on the replay from the front view, shifting the ball in his hands from a normal drop punt to kicking the ball across its side so it would bounce that way. He was deliberately doing it.
He kicked a top.
No, he didn't. It was deliberate. The umpire's seen it and pinged him for it. And when you see the replay, he meant to do it. It's just bullshit. The umpires are fine.
What about the interchange one, though?
That was obviously a mistake. That'll teach him to have Bombers 2003 as an umpire.
Friday night and Carlton getting smashed. It's panic stations down there. They've resorted to handing out free snags to the fans. Come down to Mick's Sausage Fest.
It is like comical, hey? Don't worry. Come around and have a sausage. You'll get over it. But, all right.
That's what they've been cooking all along. Long time in the making.
Mick's been cooking snags for the fans. It's not quite the Tocky hams, but it's close.
You're a bit cheap down at Carlton. They could have given the whole ham out.
I bet they were those shitty fucking Coles sausages as well.
It'll be served
I heard a
in
rumour.
brown paper bags.
I heard a rumour you had to bring your own bun for mixed sausage.
Mark Murphy probably put a little pink sticky bun down to put a sausage in anyway.
Mayonnaise optional.
Fosk would love all the mayonnaise.
Harry O.
My personal opinion is I think he needs to get a shitload of peyote and go out into the desert and get some enlightenment from peyote.
Speaking of the desert, Brian Taylor should just go into the middle of the desert and never come back.
I think Harry would be pretty keen on your idea, Stronzo, as long as he could take a reality TV crew with him.
As long as the cameras went along and he had something to tweet on, he could tweet complete gibberish and think it was insightful. He is becoming Acker-esque at Collingwood.
Except less entertaining. I think it's just becoming mundane now, you know what I mean?
The Acker train wreck was kind of fun. This one does have its sad connotations, though. Apparently the whole abuse thing was not actually him. It's just someone he knew.
But, he's just that kind of guy. He just takes on the world's problems all on his shoulders.
He feels for everyone else. He's like Jesus.
I can't believe that guy.
But yeah, most of those things, whilst they're serious, don't excuse his behaviour.
I think he's realised he's acted like a tosser and now he's trying to make up an excuse as to why he's acting like a tosser and whether it's true or not and whatever he's been through and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it only goes so far. You can only, lean on that as a reason to a certain extent and I can't help but be a little bit cynical that he's thrown all this out there just so that Collingwood don't move on him at the end of the year. They can't trade him after this.
Maybe Richmond will take him.
He'd work well there, I think.
Oh.
He'd fit in pretty good at Richmond. He's overconfident.
What we've got to take from this is that Seedsman is just so all-encompassing and powerful that his nickname is almost bringing a football club to its knees.
It's the attention that nickname's got him and all the attention Seedsman gets. Harry loves attention and Seedsman's getting it all at the moment.
It's starting with the back line, but next it will be the captain and it'll just go up from there.
How long do you think, guys, it will be before there's a sort of Mick Malthouse, Fig Jam kind of handover with Seedsman from Fig Jam to Seedsman for the coaching?
I'm not sure, but I imagine that transition would be smoother because they will follow him. Yeah, Harry O, I think he took offence a bit easy to that comment. So we actually, through our old bug at AFL House, we managed to pick up 5 things that Harry O is also offended by within the AFL community. Number 5, he gets offended by Jack Watts options instead of Harry O options on the bay. Rather, the attention was his. Number 4,
dedicated prayer rooms instead of thinking chairs
at AFL grounds. 3,
lack of Rainforest Alliance certified beans in the coffee at Collingwood.
Number 2,
more white than black on the Collingwood clash jumper.
And number 1,
Harry O's deeply offended by people posting Bosk gay jokes.
GWS against Bulldogs.
I saw the last 5 minutes of that. They went close, but
I saw bits and pieces at the pub before the Lions Suns game with a few people, and we're all hoping GWS would win, but it wasn't to be.
Are those bums actually going to win something this season or what?
they do get Melbourne again.
They do have Richmond, don't they? Don't they have a great record against the Tigers?
Oh, we beat them by 14 behinds last year.
It's funny,
Oh,
Richmond
something
haven't
for the
beaten
Suns.
an expansion team by more than 25 points.
Q Clash.
Yep, I was at the game, another win, another big crowd. The reported crowd was actually bigger than the game we had against Collingwood, so Andrew Demetriou would be jizzing his pants over that. Adelaide West Coast.
Obviously, it was good to get the win, but Adelaide choked it up big time, especially in the conditions. Big Josh Kennedy is in some awesome form at the moment. I've got a massive stiffy for him, I've got to say. Yeah, JK, I love the guy, and I'll try and relay the reason why I love him more than the other players of the Eagles is, if you can imagine an adopted kid from a third world country coming to a family, I think you go out of your way to prove that you love him more, and I think that's the case, that he's come from the scummy Carlton, and, I need to make him feel like he's at home, so I've got a fair bit of love for Big JK.
So you're bringing the sausage for him this week that he missed out on Carlton. That's what you're saying.
It was a good game, and he kicked the winning goal, and it was exciting for Eagles fans, but it wasn't a great game to watch, that's for sure.
Melbourne, Sydney.
Swans won. Cole.
During the week, there was an article on, whatever website, with Jack Watson saying how he wasn't a fan of Mark Neild's hardline approach, which I think is just hilarious. It's just the team has been a soft rabble for as long as I've followed football, and the new coach comes from a panel of a recently winning premiership club, and the Melbourne players don't like it because he was a little bit too hard on them. I don't know. Hilarious, I think.
He's a toss bag, that guy. He actually criticised the new coach.
No, Neil, the failed coach.
He criticised Neil for being hardline. Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that? Your job is to show up, do some training, and, play football on the weekend. I'm not all right with that. He's pushing me too hard.
If Neil's too hard, who does he want to coach him? Harry O'Brien.
I know.
It's beyond belief. He needs to, zip the old mouthpiece like Harry O. Those two. Bit less, jawboning.
The Saints game.
You got a legitimate win over there. Tied the free kick count.
Yeah, it was no moral loss there. They put up a very good fight, I must say, up until even the last quarter where we just put them away. But yeah, it was a decent game.
Saints pressure was good on them.
Saints played a lot better than they have for months. They were pretty competitive. So.
One thing I might note is that Scott Waters was using the Ross Lyon playbook. So of all the talk about the Saints playing new and exciting footy, they actually reverted to what they used to play against us.
Does anyone else here watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Does Scott Waters remind you of the midget?
Yeah, he does look like him.
Is it Tyrion Lannister?
Yeah, Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah, Scott Waters does look remarkably like Tyrion Lannister.
He does. Man, that's a good call.
On another note, just because Stronzo's here, we're not going to stop with the Ross Lyon bashing. Of watching a Ross Lyon game, it feels like that Freo don't go out to win. They go out to make sure the other team doesn't win. Does anyone else get this feeling watching the game?
Yeah.
What about you, Stronzo? I understand from a Freo fan, you'd have to be happy that you're winning games.
Yeah, we're winning games, and that's what matters.
It was a better scoreline this round, though.
It wasn't 100 points, yeah.
I think the most entertaining games, I've noticed this with a few of Freo since Ross Lyon got there, are the ones where the other team gets a jump early or stays with Freo early, forces Freo to kick a higher score. Because when they strangle them from the outset, like the North game, that's as bad. But certainly that game and the Essendon game were good games of football.
On the note that Ross Lyon doesn't play to win, but plays to make sure other people don't win, I reckon if you played against him in a game of Monopoly, he'd be the kind of guy that always buys the third property so you can't, put in your hotels up.
And then doesn't trade it back.
Yeah, exactly. He'd hold on to it to make sure that you can't win.
You'll have your Zach Dawson, Old Kent Road, kind of hold on to that. That's all you've got. I mean, that's it.
And keeps saying, what do you want to trade for it? And then when you go to trade for it, go, nah, that's not enough.
Yeah, I'll have Mayfair and Park Lane, please. Last game, Port Adelaide failed to deliver the lightning bolt of justice to Essendon, though Justin Westhoff delivered his own one, doing what the AFL couldn't.
The guy deserves a parade, let's be honest. Streamers flying out of the air and crowds waving flags with his faces on it and kids clapping and idolising him.
Jab Watt scum. He got a bit of karmic time off from the footy gods, I thought, on the weekend. Dictator went out there and actually did something for a change that people from another club besides Port could appreciate. And, while we're talking about Jab, I've been loving the work, and I just want to give a quick shout out to the boys down at the Essendon board.
The WADA Asada thread.
Absolutely loving your work. You guys are freaking hilarious. Don't stop your posting. You're fantastic.
The funniest one is the Essendon supporter complaining about Channel 7 News having a top 9 and having an asterisk next to Essendon.
Is that the best thing Channel 7 have ever done?
Safe to say it is.
But yeah, I was disappointed in one sense to be denied the chance to see how well Cheer the Cheat worked on Sunday, because I wanted to see if they were as passionate with their noise as the West Coast supporters last week. Something tells me not.
Well, he got dictated too, so that was it, wasn't it?
They booed Westhoff and Monfries all game. You'd think they'd be more tolerant of Monfries, an alleged drug user.
They're a bunch of sillies out at Essendon, and the thing that really got under my skin about them this week is that they're now claiming that they're non-performance enhancing, the drugs they've taken. That's their new story. Every week there's a new story from Essendon, a new lie, the cliched guilty criminal that they are. So now it's, yes, we took drugs, but it wasn't to improve our performance. Why take them? Seriously, guys, it's like taking Viagra and claiming you don't have a problem getting an erection. It's like buying a penis pump and claiming you bought it for ornamental decoration. They're lying again, and I'm sick of it.
But yeah, Watson could have been taking the AOD legitimately. Like, he does have a bit of weight to lose.
I was thinking the same for Hurley. I think that could have been a legitimate.
Yeah, well, he'd have to stop going to Hungry Jack's.
He could.
So it doesn't help to lose weight. They've already tested it on people. And what it does do, though, is it helps muscles repair themselves more quickly. So that's why they took it.
Yeah, but if you read that Essendon thread, it's not performance enhancing. That's how they're going to get off. They're going to argue not performance enhancing, which that thread is one hell of a read. You think they're bad on the Bay. It's not even close.
Their delusion is quite spectacular.
But in saying how delusional they are on their own board, you could take this situation and put it probably in most supporter bases' hands, and they'd have some dipshits on their board saying, like, trying to stick up for their club.
That's absolutely true, but it's not any other club, so it's them. It's them. Yeah, like, you could probably have a look at the Adelaide Crows one last year. I think that got quiet with Tippett Gate and everything like that. But
I think that's like 1,200 pages or something like that.
yeah, it's a massive thread, but there were probably some delusional meltdowns. But this one's just great because
It's Essendon.
just the way they're arguing, they'll get out of it, and it is Essendon, yeah, Baroque assaults and everything like that.
Reality simply is, like, the Essendon people I know were telling me black and blue at the start of the season how it was going to be, and they got the inside word, and we know people at the club, and all they were getting was the media spin early that the club was going to piss in everyone's pocket, and the lies they're going to tell, and basically it's just been one long load of bullshit after another. Who do they think they're fooling? I feel sorry for them, to be honest. It's sad.
Why is James Hird so believable considering the circumstances under which he got the job? It's just like, I'm not going to coach Essendon. They just forget that.
It's the golden boy complex.
Untouchable. Anything on the international rules team being all Aboriginal.
Well, Harry O's offended by not being able to be included, yeah.
I don't care about international rules, really. It's a shit game.
Legends game on Wednesday night.
It's more fixed than a St Kilda game.
I think everyone's just going to be watching the Ashes.
Yeah, the Ashes is on. We're going to get fucked. But England would have to do a Hawthorn of last year to lose this. It is nearly an unlosable Ashes series.
Let's face it, Clark's a douchebag.
Poster of the week is a certain lady whose name we're not going to mention, but she clearly is a superior poster to her brother, as she clearly has a very, very strong like-to-post ratio, which is way better than her brother's like-to-post ratio.
And I don't think she's ever been banned from the Bay.
Blog of the week for this week is Atlee.
Who the fuck's that?
He's weird because he's a Bulldog supporter who hates North, and his name is Atlee.
Do you reckon it was a preemptive kind of Tambling call? Like, you know, you trying to, if someone like was going to be a Richmond troll and they named themselves Tambling, but Atlee hasn't turned out as horrible as he hoped, so it hasn't quite worked out for him.
That's actually a good point. I might do that for a Hawthorn troll. Find out who Hodgepodge's new project is, because you know they'll fail.
What about Kaiser?
Honourable mention to both Kaiser and Griffey, who is still not happy with that James Brayshaw avatar.
So Atlee's the flog of the week.
Throughout the week, see the Bombers fly up. Ugak.
I like the bit where Job's actually himself.
That thread on the Essendon board as well is pretty good.
It'd be good to see a non-Bay 13 thread get up.
Ugak's could be post of the week, and Essendon board can be thread of the week.
They got the same theme, so.
Yeah, true. They're like twins. And the poll from last week is Tyler the Crying Teach. 46% said yes, 4% said no, and I think that was just certain poster who's not as good as his sister. 46% said who cares, Jack Watts was awesome this weekend, and 4% was he's become Don, which none of us could work out what that was, Chief.
Next round.
Western Derby.
Derby, excuse me. Could this perhaps be the Eagles' last relevant game of the year?
I think that was maybe round 7. In the scheme of things, I think it'll be probably the one that Eagles fans get most worked up about before the end of the year. Let's just hope it reverts back to the underdog stance for the Eagles anyway. At the moment, they're not playing as good a footy as Freo, so hopefully we go out there with nothing to lose and we turn it on and maybe ambush Freo. I think that's about our only chance.
I'd agree with that. I think you'd probably be good for close to 3/4, and then I think we'll just grind you out of the game.
I think that was pretty accurate, and I don't think it's a blight on the Eagles. I think it's more pointing out that Freo are playing hard football.
You just got too many plotters in your midfield.
I think you'll have to respectfully exclude Brad Dalziel from that bunch at the moment.
I thought that would go without mention.
He's actually our form midfielder at the moment, which I'm not happy about.
I guess Crowley would be going to him first.
Crowley to Dalziel.
I'm excited about the possibility of Crowley going to Dalziel and him realising that Dalziel doesn't actually get that much of the ball, and Crowley getting the deer in the headlights look when he has to actually make a decision in for an uncontested possession, because he just doesn't know what to do with the ball when he gets it.
Who's coming in for the Eagles? Are there any any
Say
good
that.
duckers and divers coming in?
The premier ducker in the league coming in Luke Shuey, so that's at least 5 frees 4 that will be up. Let's hope it's a competitive game.
I don't care what anyone says. I reckon the Eagles are a show without McFarlane. I think that Kennedy's going to kick a bag. I think they've been playing better footy than Duckula gives them credit for. I think you're being too nice. And I've noticed in these derbies that the underdog seems to get up a lot because it's their grand final. And the Eagles have got nothing to play for, so they're going to throw everything at Freo. And, I give them a real chance. I think it's going to be a lot closer than maybe people think. And let's face it, this is Ross Lyon, so when is a game not close?
Got to ask about the shit fight because this week it's the Derby and there's a shit fight thread going started by Bender and it's only 79 posts long. Like, it's disappointing because weekly we have these from Geelong and Hawthorn and the West Horshamites. What is it with the Western rivalry where they just don't care?
It really has no sting, doesn't it?
I don't know what it is. Like, it's a two-team town. It's not Gold Coast Brisbane where, as Paddles likes to tell us, there is no real rivalry.
My theory is that when Freo are down and the Eagles are up, the Freo Ferals get on top of it and they argue. When it's the other way around, the Eagles posters go quiet and there's no animosity and there's no exchange.
What are you trying to say there, mate?
Yeah,
Eagles posters are a bunch of squibs.
Not so much squibs. I just think that they don't want a fight they're going to lose, some of them, I think.
They got no fight. Well, I tend to agree with that.
Do you want to do a bet or anything, Stronzo? Whoever's team loses has to make a thread about the others, about 10 things they love most about the club, and it has to be somewhat sincere.
I think I can make up some bullshit for that. Yeah.
You got enough bullshit stored up to be able to filter?
Yeah, I can spin some bullshit. Yeah, for sure.
10 backhanded compliments.
It's on.
Richmond Gold Coast, start your microwaves.
This has to be games around.
It's our last game in Cairns. The deal's not getting renewed because we couldn't win a game. Hopefully they come out breathing fire. If they can't beat Gold Coast after this, after a wake-up call last week.
Is Abela back this week?
I think they were saving him for this game because they knew,
Had a chance of winning it.
it would be enough to make me microwave something.
Fyfie.
Very animal.
I was going to say,
Like
yes,
AFC.
a frog or something.
So Fyfie, you're not going to win by the comfortable 10-odd goals again this weekend, is that right?
Maybe only 10 points this time.
So the Tigers are off their 800% confidence high of the season.
Safe to say yes.
I'm going to say right now, Gold Coast are playing some pretty good footy, but this is a new Tigers. This is the Tigers that loses to all the top teams in the 8 and hammers all the bottom teams. So I'm saying the Tigers are actually going to win this one easy. I'm tipping the Tigers.
Tigers will win.
No, Gold Coast will win.
Collingwood, Adelaide. Big question, will Harry play?
No.
I couldn't care less just as long as the scum lose.
Yeah, nothing much on that. Port Hawthorn. Could Port actually pull it off in front of the Bay Covers?
Possibly.
No.
There's a chance there.
It's possible. Hawthorn did lose last week.
Hawks might actually come out and play some decent footy for the first time in 2 months and smash Port. We've got a really good record against them recently, and I think they might be a bit fired up, so should take care of Port.
Westhoff got a week, so he won't be able to deliver any more justice to injunctions.
I think Westhoff getting a week is a disgrace. Let me just say that.
He took a bit of a dive, Hooker. Geelong and Melbourne returned to the scene of the massacre, 186.
Neil Craig gets sacked this week.
Could it happen? 3 coaches in 1 year.
I think Geelong are red hot and clearly they're premiership favourites. And they're going to absolutely take the stick to the Demons and it's going to get ugly.
Carlton, St Kilda. Look, St Kilda are a chance to win this, so surely they don't pick Cozzy to get him to 200. Surely not.
Saints have got a pretty good record against Carlton recently.
And Carlton are struggling, so surely they don't, pick Cozzy. Unless they're going to man him up on Casbolt, who's about as agile.
What about the sausage sizzle effect?
A bit of food poisoning down at Carlton.
After copying a length of mixed sausage, they probably don't want to lose again.
I wonder what sauce Mick put on Yaron's sausage. Just something to keep him out of the game. Stomach bug.
Carlton, though, they're practically dry humping GWS's leg for the first pick this week. Seriously, they just couldn't wait to throw down we want your first pick. Someone should tell me that Carlton don't have such a good record with first picks.
Yeah,
maybe
they're going to fuck up another one.
They'll take a sure thing in Boyd and turn him into Jack Watts.
they could make a pig's ear out of a silk purse, those guys. So I don't think it's going to help them any.
Brisbane versus North.
This is probably the first time I'm going to a game and actually hoping it rains really, really hard.
It'll need to rain because North are pretty useful. In all fairness to the Tigers, they're not absolute rubbish or anything, and they did get a bit of a touch-up, so I think North are actually a better team than their results might
But Richmond were
lead you to
unlucky
believe.
that they had to play North under the roof that Eddie had. The roof was open, then it would have been different.
If Brisbane do their usual trick of watering the ground before the game, it might give them, a little bit more of a leg up against them.
Brad will complain afterwards about that.
That's just a given.
That'll be the press conference. Why'd they water the ground? I don't care if the grass isn't growing.
I don't care if we're in the middle of a heat wave.
Sydney, GWS.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares about that.
Not enough free tickets.
Bulldogs, Essendon.
Well, I hope the doggies get up and about with the booing, even without Jab Scum out there.
Who would they boo, though? The whole lot of them.
Yeah.
That would take a Herculean effort. I don't even think the West Coast supporters could do
Yeah.
that.
I was going to say, the game's name's not at Subi. Settle down.
Essendon will shit it in.
So, yeah, this was the Flogcast for round 15. Fyfie joined by Cat Wrangler.
Good evening, gents.
New addition, Stronzo,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Paddlepop,
Bye.
and Duckula.
Cheers, go West Coast.
Thanks for listening.